We light this chalice the symbol of our free church. The church is a vase. It services the soil, and we, like plants, grow strong here. Our gathering song this morning is number 42, Morning So Fair to See. The words are copied in the chat screen. Please keep your mics muted and simply sing along at home if you would like.
Morning so fair to see, light veiled in mystery, glorious the earth and resplendent skies. Pilgrims, we march along, singing our joyous song, as through an earthly paradise. Tall are the verdant trees, deep are the flashing seas, glorious each wonder the seasons bring. Brighter is fate's surmise, shining in pilgrim eyes, from which our waking spirits spring. Age after age we rise, 'neath the eternal skies, into the light from the shadowed past. Still shall our pilgrim song, buoyant and brave and strong, resound while life and mountains last.
Thank you so much, Barb and Bruce. These are the words of Opening by Thomas Rhodes. We come in a variety of colors and shapes and sizes. Some of us grow in bunches and some of us grow alone. Some of us are cupped inward and some of us spread ourselves out wide. Some of us are old and dried and tougher than we appear. Some of us are still in the bud. Some of us low to the ground and some of us stretch toward the sun. Some of us feel like weeds sometimes. Some of us carry seeds sometimes. Some of us are prickly sometimes. Some of us smell. And all of us are beautiful. What a bouquet of people we are. And we gather together today in our digital bouquet, each of us in our own garden. And as we come together, as always, it is only right that we remember that each of us is on land which was once the traditional territory of indigenous people. My home and our church building are built on the land of the Bohote or the Iowa people. So good morning, and I'm so glad we're together today. I'm Reverend Amy Petrie Shaw. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our digital service. Lyra Halston's today's celebrant. Wave, Lyra. And Barb Martin is our song leader. Bruce Martin is our pianist. I think you can see where the piano is. Please keep your mics muted during the entire service. You're welcome to turn your cameras on. We're recording the service, so you are being recorded. It will be available on our UCDSM Facebook page and our First Unitarian Church of Des Moines YouTube channel. After today's service, I want to remind all members to join in the digital annual meeting. If you've registered, you were sent a link to get in. Please use your own link. The meeting starts at 11:30 today. We're going to try to be prompt, but you know how that goes. So again, welcome.
Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Des Moines digital service. My name is Lyra Halston, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. And as Reverend Amy said, I'm the celebrant for this morning's service. Whether you are here with us for the day or here for a lifetime, we are glad that you have chosen to join us online. Everyone is welcome to join us for a service, whether or not you live in Des Moines or have ever physically been at First Unitarian. Whoever you are, we hope that you find something here today to help you on your life's journey. We're excited to have Alexito as our outreach partner for May and June. Their mission is to provide programming that builds the leadership potential of Latinx youth through college preparation, career development, civic engagement, family support, and celebration of culture.
Hi, my name is Devin McClurkin, and I am the Director of Faith Formation here at First Unitarian Church, Des Moines. Today, we are going to be celebrating our high school seniors who have had the unique and difficult experience of completing their high school careers during this time in the middle of the pandemic. This is Tevka Lackman. She is the daughter of Heidi and Tom Lackman, and she is graduating from Norwalk High School. She was active in cross-country, diving, gymnastics, plus several volunteer pursuits, and created countless artwork projects during her school years. Much of Tevka's identity development took place via First Unitarian Church through opportunities provided by Coming of Age and at the Youth Midwest Leadership School, as well as via relationships with UUs that came from summer weeks at Camp Unistar and participation in planning and youth cons at UNO. And Tevka will be attending the University of Northern Iowa in a major in studio art and/or graphic design. This is Elias Jackson. He is the son of Elaine Jackson and is graduating from Lincoln High School and will be attending Grandview University studying game design. He's been active in choir, show choir, chamber choir, and throughout his high school career, in addition to several academic scholarships, he's received a Pro Musica scholarship to Grandview University. He's been part of First Unitarian since he was a year old, and he went through the OWL classes and Coming of Age. This is Rachel Galzozo. She is the daughter of Jennifer and Steve, and she is graduating from Roosevelt High School and will attend Augusta College to play volleyball and study pre-occupational therapy, and she has gone through OWL and Coming of Age. This is Christina Tillotson. She is one of our childcare staff, and she's graduating from East High School and going to Central Iowa State for an elementary education degree with an emphasis on special education. She joined our childcare staff in the fall of 2018 and has loved watching the little ones grow. And last, we have Madeline Eckernott. She's a daughter of Carissa Nagel and Justin Eckernott, and she is graduating from Valley High School. She'll be attending UNI in the fall, majoring in music composition, and she's gone through Coming of Age and been an active member of WIRE UU and instrumental in planning cons. She's also done special music for our services and will be sharing a song with us in just a little bit. And now I have on the words on our screen a congregational blessing. Do ask that you keep your mics muted, but if you could speak with me, this blessing for our high school seniors. We speak as a voice of congregations. We've provided religious education and youth programs, and we cherished your voices in the halls of our church. We try to give you the gift of a place to belong, a place of friendship and growth, and we hope that you know that you are here. We are here for you as you start new adventures, and that you deepen and grow, so too will the tradition that cherishes you. We bless you now with honor for this rite of passage into adult community. So now at this time, you're not only completing high school, you're beginning your journey into the world that you will be creating for yourself, even if many of the pieces of it are unknown. The seniors all have been given the book Becoming, and we hope that you will fondly remember your home at First Unitarian Church of Des Moines and know that this is always your home. And so that is the class of 2020. Now I'm going to share a video that Bill Paxton has put together with the UU singers to recognize the seniors. Thank you, Bill. That was wonderful. And now, Amy, do you have Madeline's song to share?
Yes, hold on just a second. Devin, is it showing the still video?
forgive me not sometimes. Forget the tears. Forget all for I know I'll never be sung another lullaby to sleep. I don't know where I'm going, I only know where I've been. And I sure hate the thought of growing, but I cannot pretend that I don't grow older every day. But I have so much more to say. When the sky cries, it cries my name for all I have lost. But then the clouds clear and the flowers they bloom in the garden I love. And the world, it stands still for a moment in time. And suddenly I realize I am glad to be alive. And when I'm older yet, I'll come back with my butterfly net. Call everyone to help me, and we'll sing the song I'll never forget. In the garden, chasing pretty butterflies. I know we can catch them if we try. And butterflies in spring, I'll see you again.
As we get ready for our time of offerings, the post-pandemic party crew have struck again, and they have asked me to share this interesting video with you.
Well, of course I would have had them if I had known you were coming. You didn't respond to my invitation. I emailed it to you last week. This is what happens when you don't respond to your messages. You did respond? Oops, my bad. Be right back. Maybe there's some fig Newtons inside. Oh, I forgot, that's right. It's closed.
Hey, Sarah, what you doing?
I'm having a tea party.
I take it it's not going very well?
No. Teddy Bun Buns forgot the cucumbers for the sandwiches and only brought bread. And I brought brownies, but Celeste McCrabby Pants only eats fig Newtons. And Barky St. Peter's over there he waited until we got here to tell me that he doesn't do tea. He only drinks Don Justo sustainably sourced coffee. Information that would have been helpful when he RSVP'd.
This social distancing has really gotten to you, hasn't it?
Uh-huh. I miss my real friends. I miss church. I want to see everyone, and I want to sit inside and talk to people, not computer screens. For the love of Fauci, won't this pandemic ever end?
Vera.
Maybe we'll have to stay apart forever. Pretty soon, we won't even want to go outside. If a second wave comes, it'll be too dangerous to go out.
Vera.
People will be fighting to the death over toilet paper. Not even the good stuff, the one-ply with the chunks of wood in it. And we'll forget how to talk to each other. We'll only be able to type. What if someone snatches the toilet paper away and rips off our hands? We won't even be able to type. Oh my God, we're all doomed. What?
Look, I miss being in the church and seeing everyone too. But trust me, the quarantine will end. And when it does, we are going back in there and we are going to have the biggest party ever. Don't you know about the post-pandemic party?
No. What is it?
Well, since we can't have our normal individual fabulously fun food fair events, we're going to have one big all-church gathering after it's safe for everyone to enter the church.
How come I didn't know about this?
Well, it's been in the intercom for at least 3 weeks now.
Really? Oops. My bad. Well, what can we do to help? And by we, I mean our congregation. An all-church event needs everyone from the church to muck in to make it happen, right?
Absolutely. Right now, we need folks to buy tickets to the party by going to the online giving page on the website and selecting post-pandemic party. They can also send checks to the church. Clearly marked post-pandemic party and indicate the number of adult and child tickets they want.
How much are the tickets?
Well, the food fair event usually raises about $16,000 for the church each year. We really count on that money, so we're asking for a minimum donation of $20 for an adult and $10 per child.
Maybe people can estimate what they've spent on food fair events in the past and donate a similar amount this year.
Exactly. We want people to think about what First Unitarian means to them and decide what they can afford to give to support our community. As long as you have your phone, why don't you buy a ticket now?
And done. Easy peasy pudding pie. Oh no.
What? What's wrong?
I forgot the pudding pie in the car. I hope it's not melted. Do you think it'll be okay?
I think I'm gonna go do some social distancing.
See you at the party!
Well, thanks for that. Our offertory today is done in my usual style. An elderly woman lived alone in Des Moines. She wanted to plant her annual flower garden, but it was hard work and the ground was terribly rocky. Her only son, Steve, who used to help her, was in prison. So the old woman wrote a letter to her son and she described her predicament. Dear Steve, I'm feeling pretty sad because it looks like I won't be able to plant my flowers this year. I'm too old to be digging up a garden plot. I know if you were here, my troubles would be over. I know you'd be happy to dig the plot for me like the old days. Love, Mom. A few days later, she got a letter from her son. Dear Mom, please don't dig up the garden. That's where I buried the bodies. Love, Stevie. At 4 a.m. the next morning, FBI agents and the local police arrived, and they dug up the entire area. They didn't find any bodies or anything else. They apologized to the old woman and they left. And the next day she received another letter from her son. Dear Mom, go ahead and plant your flowers. This was the best I could do under the circumstances. Love, Stevie. No matter how your garden was created, we welcome all flowers here. The morning offering will now be given and received. And if you would like to support First Unitarian Church Des Moines and our Faith in Action partner, El Éxito, I'm going to put a link in the chat, or Devin, you can put the link. Or you can go to our website at ucdsm.org and click on online giving in the bar on the front page. And when it opens up, click on online giving. You can put any amount you want in the basket. You can also choose to make a repeating gift. This is our digital version of the offering plate. Anything gathered here today goes 1/2 to El Éxito and 1/2 to support our overall social justice work. Thank you so much, Bruce. That was lovely. And thank you all for these gifts given and received for the life and the work of this community. As a community of human hands and human hearts, we come together here to share our laughter and our tears, and to bear witness and to minister to one another as we struggle with life's challenges, even during these digital times. We especially hold in love anyone who is grieving or heavy-hearted today. We hold in love George Floyd and his family and friends, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor. We hold in love the over 100,000 people who have died of COVID-19 in our country. We hold in love the frontline responders. We hold in love those who clean and sanitize our hospitals and our healthcare centers. We hold in love all the essential workers who kept us going. Please bring into this moment and into the chat any names of anyone who you know could use some special care and attention this week. And as we say their names aloud or silently, may the love of this community hold them all. This next bit is especially relevant after last night and the night before and what's been going on this week in our world. Within our community and across the wider world, there are people who are being denied their inherent worth and dignity because of something about their human nature, their inherent humanity, the color of their skin. May the work of our hands and our hearts support and comfort all of those who are marginalized and oppressed, silenced, at risk. And may we be called to action by the needs of those who struggle against violence, degradation, destruction, marginalization. May our light shine on the broken places of the world. May we journey together with everyone who fights for equity and justice in human relations. May those who are grieving be comforted. May those who are tired find rest. May the broken places in our world be healed. May those who are filled with joy and laughter be abundant. When we are in our building, we light 3 candles at this point. We light the first for all of those joys and all of those sorrows we've shared here. We light the second for all the names we have spoken. And we light a final candle for all of the joys and all of the concerns that are held so deeply, but remain unspoken here today.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul.
Did you know that the flowers you give as gifts could be sending a secret message? Flowers have a language of their own. The Victorians made an art of it. Perhaps you've heard about Victorian women carrying small bouquets called tussie mussies. These bouquets were not just for show or scent. The flowers in them were chosen for the messages encoded in them. For instance, strands of ivy signaled fidelity and friendship. Gardenias conveyed a secret love, and forsythia for anticipation. Shakespeare used the meanings of flowers to enhance his storylines, as in Hamlet, when poor Ophelia laments, "There's rosemary, that's for remembrance. Pray, love, remember. And there's pansies, that's for thoughts." Even dashing Leopold in the movie Kate and Leopold knew better than to send a woman orange lilies. Trying to plan a garden based on the meaning of flowers might not be as wise as designing around the plant's growing requirements or coordinating colors, but it can be a lot of fun when creating a floral display or a bouquet of flowers to give as a gift. Let's say you want to send a thank you gift. You could start by including some iris. Iris flowers are a tip-off that the bouquet is a message. Then consider some white bellflowers for gratitude, amaranth for affection, and maybe some spearmint for warm feelings. How's that for conveying message or conveying meaning through the language of flowers? You don't even need to send a thank you note. Declaring your love through flowers has been made so simple for you, you don't even have to think about it. It's no coincidence that baby's breath and ferns are included with your roses. While the roses convey love, the baby's breath means everlasting love, and the ferns add sincerity. But you can always make your floral note a little bit more personal. Red tulips are an outright declaration of love. If you want to be more subtle, small sunflowers signal adoration, jonquils, desire, and violets let the receiver know that they occupy your thoughts. The language of flowers isn't limited to the showy blossoms either. Tuck in some basil for best wishes. A four-leaf clover, if you can find one, is a much better way to say, be mine, than a hard candy heart. Keep in mind it's not just which flowers and plants you include, but also the way they're displayed. Flowers that incline to the left represent you, whereas right-wingers are messages about the receiver. Even where you hold your flowers sends a message. Too complicated? There's always rosemary for remembrance. Not the flower-giving type? How about surprising your date with a pineapple for perfection, or sending a bag of hazelnuts in the hope of a reconciliation? Okay, maybe you'd be better off with a nice dinner for that, but don't give up so easily. It's not just affection and condolences that can be conveyed by flowers. You can use flowers for a pep talk, to show your displeasure, or simply to say, I'm thinking of you. Just imagine what your garden could be saying to your guests.
Please join me in a silent moment of thought, reflection, meditation, or prayer.
This reading is the Flower Communion Meditation by Lynn Unger. What a gathering! The purple tongues of iris licking out at spikes of lupin, the orange crepe skirts of poppies lifting over buttercup and daisy. Who can be grim in the face of such abundance? There is nothing to compare, no need for beauty to compete. The voluptuous rhododendron and the plain grass are equally filled with themselves, equally declare the miracles of color and form. This is what community looks like, this vibrant jostle, stem by stem, declaring the marvelous joining. This is the face of communion, the incarnation once more gracefully resurrected from winter. Hold these things together in your sight: purple, crimson, magenta, blue. You will be feasting on this long after the flowers are gone. Our centering song today is number 64, Oh Give Us Pleasure in the Flowers Today. The words will be in the chat screen. Please keep your mics muted and simply sing along at home if you would like.
Oh, give us pleasure in the swan dilating round the perfect trees, and make us happy in the darting word that suddenly, although the breeze is heard, the meter that runs in the Needle Hill, and off the blossom in mid-air stands still. For this is love, and nothing else is love, for which it is reserved for God above to sanctify to God's more empty will, but which it only needs that we fulfill.
Thank you so much, Barb. Flower communion, or the flower ceremony, is one of those services that most people either like or hate. Some people adore it as one of our few rituals. Some people think it's goofy. I so wanted to preach about the fun, historical, goofy flower communion today. Had a whole sermon written about it, and got up this morning and saw the news. So I'm not going to preach that sermon. You know, Norbert Chapek was the minister who came up with the idea of doing a flower celebration or a flower communion. He used both terms. And you get a sweet version of why he did that in our UU children's book, A Lamp in Every Corner. It's very sweet. It talks about the plain and simple church that Norbert Chapek had, where the chairs were hard and the minister wasn't dressed up fancy. Norbert Chapek was an amazing man. He was born in Bohemia. He started out to be a Catholic, and by the time he was 18, this brilliant man said, "This is not for me. I need something more." So he tried switching over to being a Baptist, and he got ordained at 18 years old. And he got up there and he started to preach. He got married, he had 8 kids, and he did not make the Baptist in his own country very happy, because each year he got more liberal. And each year he wrote more and he edited more, and he would not shut up. And this man made people angry. So he and his wife fled to the United States. When they got here, almost immediately he was widowed. His wife got ill. He got remarried, and he found a Unitarian church. So this guy who wouldn't shut up, he became the minister for a group of Unitarians. Sounds pretty good. He started to preach, and he wouldn't wear the traditional fancy robes. He wouldn't put icons on the walls of his church. He wouldn't put art. When he preached, it was a lecture, and people flocked to hear this man. He was bright, he was articulate, he was angry, he was intelligent. People listened. He did so well in that Unitarian church here that he and his wife said, "You know what? We want to go home. We want to bring this liberal faith back to our own country." So they packed up, they returned to Prague in 1921, and they opened a Unitarian church, formed a liberal religious fellowship. Bare bones, no fancy robes, no ornate art, just wisdom, just thought, just talking week after week, telling the people an intelligent, informed, liberal point of view. It grew like crazy. It's unlike anything else in Europe at the time. The problem was that even in Europe, even in an intelligent liberal community, people got upset. And they told Norbert Chapek, there's no spirituality here in your church. You're not nurturing me. And this brilliant man was wounded. And he went home and thought about that balance. And he created the flower ceremony. And again, it was simple. Everybody bring in a flower, put it in this simple vase, and at the end of the day, we all take a flower home. And it's to remind us that we need all of us, that everybody is unique. And that it takes all of us. It takes the beautiful flowers and the ugly flowers and the smelly flowers, the perfumed flowers, the tall and the short. It takes us all. It takes the ivy and the poison ivy. That mattered to him. And it mattered so much that even though he got asked repeatedly to come back to the United States, he said no. It mattered so much he didn't leave as the Nazis rolled in. He kept preaching, he kept teaching, he kept saying what he was saying, which is everybody matters. In March of 1941, he and his daughter were arrested by the Gestapo. His wife had gone to the United States to pastor a Unitarian church. He died in Dachau in 1942. He was charged with the capital crime of essentially listening to the press. He was charged with listening to foreign broadcast. He was arrested and killed for that. Frederick May Elliott, who was president of the Unitarian Association at the time, said this, and I want to make sure I get this quote right. Another name is added to the list of heroic Unitarian martyrs, by whose death our freedom has been bought. Ours is now the responsibility to see that we stand fast in the liberty so gloriously won. Norbert Chapek died for listening to a free press. And I was thinking about that brilliant man who said, we all matter. When I got up this morning and heard the news and started to go through the reports, as most of you may know, a black man named George Floyd died this past week. Police officer knelt on his neck for 8 minutes, 43 seconds on full video with witnesses. Wouldn't move even when the man said, I can't breathe, I'm dying, help me. Wouldn't move even witnesses began to scream for assistance to tell him he was killing him. That officer has now been charged with third-degree murder. Across our country, people are coming out in protest. They're calling them the Fed Up protests. And the police are coming back with violence. I watched until about 3 a.m. last night here in Des Moines. We had windows get broken in the courthouse. They're seeing a disturbing pattern. Alt-right, organized, male, white people are showing up at peaceful protests and escalating the violence, and then the police are responding. For those of you who haven't heard yet haven't heard the term Boogaloo or Boogaloo Boys, look it up. This is a new alt-right movement. The name started as a joke based on a movie in the 80s, Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. Their stated aim is to bring about a new civil war, and they are not kidding. This is very real. They are showing up in organized fashion where we have left and hard left protesters protesting peacefully. And yes, where there may be angry people looting, not denying that's happening. But these people are showing up in buses and vans, and they are immediately doing things like breaking windows and starting fires and then running. The police are then moving in and attacking the peaceful protesters if they can't get out of the way in time. Over the course of the night, police in riot gear across the country were shooting pepper spray and mace into the faces of people protesting, people with their hands up, people just walking by. In one case, they pulled the mask off a 12-year-old, the COVID mask, sprayed his full face with pepper spray, and put the mask back. Video came out this morning of police on horses riding over fallen protesters, firing paint rounds at people sitting on their own porches. They're targeting the media. Over the course of the evening, CNN, HuffPo, and Times reporters were hit by tear gas and rubber bullets. In Louisville, they're on film. They're aiming directly at the media. In Cincinnati, where several of my friends were, the clergy were fired on with their hands up. They shot them with pepper rounds, baton rounds, and rubber rounds at close range. In Minneapolis, the police opened fire on a first aid station with the wounded inside. They were treating protesters, adults and kids who'd come in with rubber bullet wounds, scrapes and gashes, tear gas exposure. And they started firing on them. Medics, nurses, and EMTs walked out and identified themselves. They were hit with tear gas, paint, and rubber bullets. In one location, the police charged protesters with an SUV. All of these are on video. And here's the other side of that. In Fort Gable, Florida, police officers came out and they took a knee with the protesters and they stayed that way. In Flint, Michigan, protesters walked toward Genesee County Sheriff's deputies. Deputies were in riot gear with batons. When they met, they started to talk. Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson took his helmet off, put his baton down, and then the officers joined the protest and walked with the protesters. It's possible to find a way forward. We have people here in America right now that are emboldened by the words of our president, who has said if the looting starts, the shooting starts, and who's forwarding tweets by someone who said the only good Democrat is a dead Democrat. These people are being emboldened by this. And yet, in some places, the police are joining with the protesters. In Louisville, black men joined arms around a white police officer who got separated from his squadron and kept him protected from the violence. We're out there. Some of our folks from First Unitarian Church were at the protest in Des Moines last night. People we know got hit with tear gas, and yet they'll be out there again tonight. Because we have to live up to Norbert Chapek's ideals, that idea that we all matter. We have to uphold those values. We have to be the vase where we can gather. People died for this. People are in the streets fighting for this. It's up to us. And we can do it. I'm sorry this couldn't be a happy flower communion service, but sometimes it's a sermon we need, not the one we want to give. We got to keep doing the work because we make a difference. If Flint, Michigan officers can walk with protesters, we can make a difference. Amen.
May the fire of our faith never diminish, and may we bloom together now and in time to come. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of love, the fire of commitment, or the warmth of community. Be safe and be strong. Our final song today is number 61, Lo, the Earth Awakes Again. The words will be in the chat screen. Please keep your mics muted and simply sing along at home if you would like.
From the winter's bond and pain, it's free, hallelujah, to our darkness happy day, hallelujah. Once again the word comes true, hallelujah. For the earth shall be made new, hallelujah. Now the dark old days are hallelujah. Spring and gladness are before, hallelujah. Changed and mourning into praise, hallelujah. And for dirges anthems raised, hallelujah. Our spirits soar and sing, hallelujah. Our hearts beat with the spring, hallelujah.
Go in love, go in peace, go in kindness. The service ends, but your service begins anew. Peace, ashe, and may it be so.
Soul of truth, eternal goodness, sojourn with us as we part. Fill our minds with light and ever. Keep us just and pure in heart. Strengthen us for daily duty. Guide us by the inward light. Hallowed be each coming morning. Come and be
Thank you so much, Barb. We can do a very brief, if you want to unmute and talk for a minute, we can do a brief